record.
How about some bingo and some dance classes and a continental breakfast on Sundays? These are some of the perks which are being offered to illegals at some point in detention centers in places around Houston, Texas. Iowa Senator Charles Grassley fired up about this, and so too is California Congressman Bilbray. He's the chairman of the Immigration Reform Caucus, and my guest from the Hill today. And, sir, good morning to you. Grassley fired off a letter. I'm going to read part of that in a moment, but just on the surface of this, is this a good idea if it goes forward?
I think it's a terrible idea, and I think it not only sends a terrible message to those who are thinking of immigrating illegally, but it sends a message to American citizens across this country that to be legally in this country, you're treated better than if you're a U.S. citizen or a legal immigrant. We're going to, this is another step in rewarding the illegal immigration behavior rather than addressing it as a problem.
Some people who are in your camp have made a similar argument. Here's what Chuck Grassley says. He says taxpayers will not tolerate Uncle Sam using their money to provide dance lessons and bingo to those who knowingly broke our laws. Now, the company that's in charge of some of these prisons or detention centers say no taxpayer money is going to be spent. In fact, supporters say it'll actually help make the system more humane. On the surface, do you agree with that?
Well, I don't think our detention facilities anywhere are inhumane. I've been in the detention facilities for the detained illegals in San Diego, and they're actually much better than our local facilities where U.S. citizens being detained or questioned are held. So I think this is absolutely absurd. And to think that you can detach a contract from the taxpayers. Taxpayers are paying for all of these expenses one way or the other. And if we start expanding services, that means we have to reduce resources. And Bill, remember, we desperately need more space to be able to hold illegals in this country. This administration is releasing illegals across this nation, by the thousands every year because they say they don't have enough space to hold them. And now we see a proposal like this, which, let's be frank about it, is probably why there's so much activism and lawyers involved at constantly harassing the detention facilities for ICE to be able to create a situation where there isn't a holding capacity. And putting these programs in is another example of
you
making them
mentioned two
insecure.
things. I want to follow up on this. Corrections Corporation of America is the company they say they do this money privately, but they do take money from the Federal Bureau of Prisons, ICE, as you mentioned, and also the United States Marshal Service. They're insisting that no taxpayer money is spent. Here's what ICE sent us earlier today. They said these reforms are currently being evaluated and have not been implemented. Any such reforms will not be funded at additional taxpayer expense. Evaluated, not been implemented. Are they having second thoughts about going forward?
Well, I think they definitely are getting the heat from, I know that the public's going to be outraged about this. And don't say that taxpayers' money is not involved. The detainees are not paying for this. They do not pay the corporation. This is not a hotel or a resort where the people residing pay their fair market value. These facilities are being paid through taxpayers' funds because the contracts are being paid by the men and women who are legally working hard in this country. And it's absolutely absurd to say the taxpayer is not connected to these kind of resort facilities.
I appreciate you coming on today. We're going to follow up with ICE and also CCA on this, okay? Bilbray.
Absolutely, Bill.
Out of California.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. You got it. Martha.